Hi everyone. I think it's been like 2 years, 3 years. I just wanted to hop back on here because I have an interview scheduled with Kendrick. Hi, Kendrick, in a few weeks to talk about social types. And it has gotten me sucked back hard into the world of ops and objective personality. And I just wanted to talk about it and throw some guesses as to what my social type might be. If you watched my previous videos, I was nothing in the end of what I thought my final ops type would be. Well, feminine, SETE, play, blast, sleep, consume, which makes me an ESFP jumper. At the time, I really hated it and thought, what? Like, I'm an ST. Super weird. It makes a lot of sense. Coming from the Myers-Briggs world, I thought I was INFP. I do have a very, very intense NF inner world. I know Dave has brought this up in a few videos, but he says you got to watch out for those double feminines who have that David Goggins inner world, and that's me. Ha. So watch out for me. It's like no wonder I felt the way I felt my whole life, even though I'm double feminine on the outside, and I've talked about this in previous videos, but I very much feel masculine on the inside, and it's because of that demon masculine NF world. In preparation for this interview, I chatted a bit with Kendrick and he said, "Hey, did you get your social type back?" And I was like, "Nope." I have not really been active in the community for a really long time. In fact, I canceled my subscription because I was going months without even watching videos. Anyway, I feel like my brain is latching on back in full force. I love it. I love what they're doing. Every time I listen to them, I feel like they're just friends. And I feel really lucky that I share functions with them because when they speak, they're speaking my language. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like whenever I think about the world through ops, it's more effective to me than any form of therapy. Maybe it's my SETE, but it just makes more sense to me. And my TE is very happy about that. I've been going to therapy on and off since I was in high school. I was severely depressed in high school. I always thought that whenever I went to a therapist, talking didn't help because I was always not honest. I don't really have pathways thought out about what to talk about or how to explain the state that I'm in or how to express how I'm feeling. And so it feels very surface level. I don't know that I necessarily got any benefit out of therapy. I feel like I've also benefited more from taking psychedelic mushrooms for my mental health. But I think all in all, I really enjoy ops as my way to stay sane and hopeful and want to continue improving myself. Anyway, that is way off the topic of what I wanted to talk about. And what I wanted to talk about today was guessing my social type. So I did chat with Kendrick a little bit, and he said, "What do you think you are?" And I said, probably a two or a three. And the reason I thought that I was a two or a three is because I thought there's no way I could be a one and there's no way I could be a four. I still don't think that I'm a four. Kendrick had guessed that I was probably a one or a three, or he recalled in some of my past interviews and videos that I have expressed that I am demon friends and that I'm a shitty friend. I've said this myself. I struggle to maintain friendships and things like that. And so I was like, yeah. But the reason I thought that I was probably not a one is because ones are not afraid to fuck over the people around them and to cut people off. I know people who do that, who can do that very easily, and it's not me. I'm a lot friendlier, but in hindsight, that could be because of my savior feminine DE, obligated by my savior function to get along with the tribe and to be agreeable and all that shit. So that's why I thought I was definitely not a number one. The reason I think that I am not a number four, and I still stand on that, is because I am not friends first. And I don't know how much what else more to say about that. There were times in my childhood where I was that girl who would, stop everything to be with a friend in distress, but at the core of it, I'm not motivated by the need to make friends. Kendrick's suggestion that I could be a number one really got me thinking. The reason why I'm starting to think perhaps I am a number one is because at the end of the day, I really pride myself on the things that I put my name on. The things that I put out have to be absolutely high quality. I have extremely high standards for my work and anything that I do and anything I put out. Ever since I started working, I started working at the age of 15. From the second I started working, I thought it was the most fun thing ever. It was a place I got to go to that wasn't school, and it was a way for me to get out of the house. Every job that I've worked at, I've always thought, and it's not like I came across this way, I don't think, but I always thought, I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to work and I'm here to get the job done. I'm here to do my job really fucking well. And I did. Even at, I don't know, places like Cold Stone, where I was working in high school. It's a little ice cream shop. I hated when there was no line out the door. Rather than making small talk with my coworkers, I would be looking for things to do and keeping myself busy. I would much rather work than hang out and shoot the shit, you know? But I wasn't like bitchy like that or anything. I was just that girl that was always doing something. It didn't really have anything to do with like I need people to see me working hard. It wasn't anything like that. It was just more like I prefer so much to be in a state of working and productivity rather than standing around. Standing around and having a small talk gives me just so much anxiety. Like I fucking hate it. There is the case that I could be a number three because number three is also demon friends, but I don't think that I'm much of a specialist. My work history has always been something to do with starting my own thing. So in college, I had a business that I started with one of my friends, and we were doing photo shoots and designing websites. We curated a bunch of cool things and opened up an online store. I had a bunch of freelance jobs where I was doing design work for other small businesses and companies. At the time, I wasn't even technically trained in design. I just knew I had an eye for it. And I was even using PowerPoint and layers on PowerPoint to create my graphics, but it was somehow I could just use that very primitive tool and still create cool things. Even did some bookkeeping for this dog daycare, which turned into marketing and design. And then I moved back here to Hawaii and I got my real estate license and I started helping my dad at his real estate firm. I was doing property management work. I was still doing fact sheet design, but I was also doing menu design for his beer company. And now I do that beer company full time where I am the head of marketing and I do everything. I do the merchandising, I do the inventory, designs, product packaging, I manage my team. I don't know that I necessarily relate to able to delegate, but that could also be my function and my feminine SETE not wanting to push the tribe and to be aggressive or assertive and tell them what to do. I really hate that, but I've gotten a lot better at it. And one of the ways I've gotten better at it is by creating systems so that I don't have to ask. It's all on a board where we all just check off our tasks and it's done without me having to bother them, which is great. So I am figuring out these different ways where I can be more of a leader and a boss without it making me uncomfortable, which is stupid, but you know. So more and more, I'm starting to think that I am a one. I did think I could have been a two because, work for work's sake and spinning wheels. I kind of relate to that too. But at the same time, a two would be working and friends, which I don't know. I don't know. Okay, another reason why I could be a number one is because I am actually very money driven. That's really weird to say. I actually got in trouble by my school when I was in the second grade because I was passing around a pricing list to the entire classroom for different things that I could make in origami, which is like the Japanese art of paper folding. Anyway, like if you wanted a crane, it would cost like $1. If you wanted a little box, it would cost you 50 cents, whatever. I made this whole pricing list, I passed it around, and I actually made money, maybe like $10, you know? I didn't think there was anything wrong with it. It was just something fun that I did. I didn't tell anyone about it. I didn't bring people in and say, hey, let's start this. It was just like I kind of did it. And then I got in trouble from the teacher. They like called my parents in and said, hey, she can't do that. And I think secretly behind the scenes, my dad was like, that's my girl, because he is very much an entrepreneur, very self-made. Since I was small, I've been kind of doing little things like that. And it's not necessarily because I like the money or I need to like buy lavish things. I think it's fun. It's the thrill of it, it's the fun of it. So I think I have always been like that. And one of the one of the most stressful times of my life was when I was doing this 5 week restaurant business training course in Japan, which is like 5 weeks of very intensive, every single day, training and working and whatever. And then at the very same time, I was also remotely working my other full-time job at the time, which was doing design, marketing, email marketing for this other Japanese company. I would rush home after training and try to like just bang out those designs. But at the same time, I had another job, and that was working for a author slash motivational speaker. Actually, one that Dave and Shan have covered a few times in their courses, but I don't really want to drop names. I was promoted from their customer service because I had experience creating customer service systems or support systems before with one of my old businesses. And so I kind of climbed my way up through that. He actually promoted me up to being his social media manager. So I was doing three jobs at once. Crazy. It was very stressful, but at the same time, kind of fun. What I would do is I would pound like 2 beers after training. And when I am drinking or buzzed or drunk, I'm more confident. And I think it's because I can reach down into my masculine NF, engage with my decider, with my FI. And because of that, I'm a lot more confident about the choices and decisions and everything that I do. Instead of second guessing myself, stretching out one task for a long time, I would bang it out so fast. I felt so productive. And it's still something that I do. Another thing I wanted to talk about is the social types is kind of cool because no wonder my type twins are nothing like me because we have different social needs. That's been a huge relief because the people that are my type twins, I gotta say, I'm not thrilled. I don't mean to be offensive or anything. I just don't feel like I'm anything like them. Jasmine Star, Marzia Kelberg. There are no classes on her. She's just on the celebrity archives. Michelle Yeoh, and she's that lady in Everything Everywhere All at Once and Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Also, some lady named Paula White. I started watching some videos on her. So cringe. Do not want to be associated with her at all, but apparently that's my type twin. And then lastly, Shefali Sabari. I think she's a doctor or something. She seems like she has her shit together. I don't feel like I relate to any of these ladies at all, except maybe Marzia's eyeliner. That's about it. Yeah, it's crazy to me that these ladies are my exact type twin. So now I just have to figure out if they're type fours or type threes or type twos or type ones. Like appearance wise, I don't know. Do I look like them? I don't know. Uh, okay, but here's the case for why I could possibly not be a number one. I think it was mentioned in one of the classes that type ones you can tell because they're very driven. They have goals and they want to be the best. I was not like that for most of my life. I did it all in a very passive way. And again, it could be my saviors that were taking default and then also my demon FI is like not knowing what I wanted or not knowing what I valued. I was not good at school. I wasn't one of those like straight A valedictorian types. In fact, I hated school. I sucked at school. I very much had ADD, undiagnosed. I was one of those kids who would shove their syllabi in the bottom of my crumpled ass backpack and always bewildered when everyone else took out their homework or when tests were passed out, I really just like rolled with it. I don't know how I got through school. I really did not have any control over my school. It really is insane that I somehow got through it. So I was not a number one in the schooling environment, unless it was something that I loved, then, I took it real serious and it was like an easy A. Anything to do with psychology or mixed media arts, I was like, fuck yeah, like automatic A, excelled. When it came to school, my memory of it is that I was constantly bored. I was constantly daydreaming. And more than going to school to socialize, more than going to school to learn, I was more concerned about the perception of me and also just my chemical state. I was very distracted by boys. That's all I cared about, like obsessively. It's so stupid, but that was my school life. That's all I could focus on. If I had a crush, that was it. That was my entire world, my entire brain, my entire life, my entire soul. Ever since the fifth or sixth grade, I was always that girl that was like always kind of paired up with someone, always kind of like had a little thing going on. And it was like nothing crazy or slutty or weird, okay? It was just like I think I had game for that kind of stuff and I just found it to be so thrilling. The feeling of being liked back, right, is just better than any drug. I've come such a long way in developing my FI and my NI. Play would overshadow everything. And I was always just chasing what I wanted to do in the moment. And I never had the self-control to work up towards something or to build something, or I just had to do it now or chase this now. One thing that has really grounded me is being with my husband, who I have not pinpointed his exact type, only because I've never met anyone like him, honestly. And when I watch interviews or I look through the archives, I can't find anyone that's like him. I suspect that he is a NITI or a NIFI, something like that. I think that he is a NIFI and that he's very aggressive towards the tribe and no problem cutting people off, cutting people out of his life, just does not care about what people think of him. I think he has been a tremendous source of growth for me into not overdoing my saviors and to stop and to fully process things and think about things because I am demon sleep and I am demon consume. Okay, and then last thing before I go, I wanted to share a funny story. So a few nights ago, my husband and I, we had a few beers, decided to go to Jack in the Box. The first time we go around, we were like we haven't been to Jack in the Box in so long, maybe like a year or two. And so we're staring at the menu, like, what do we want? And then there's people coming behind us. So we're like, shit, shit. So then we get out of line and go circle back around. So anyway, the second time we're like, all right, we got this. And then we pull up to the window and they're like, oh, the person in front of you paid for it. And we're like, what? And they're like, yeah, they already paid for it. You're good. And it was the first time in my life that we had ever been in this situation where it was one of those, what I assume was like one of those chains, right? Where it's like you pay it forward and you keep doing that. But um so my husband and I, we both don't have FE, right? So we in our heads we're like, oh cool, cool. Like we scored. Yeah, like it was the right decision to come. Like we came at the perfect time and like, real are we seriously gonna break the chain? And he was like, yeah, well, someone has to. And like that is literally like us, you know? I don't know. I just wanted to share that story because I thought it was funny. So we ended up getting like $25 in Jack in the Box for free because we were there at the right time. Okay, and with that, I'm gonna wrap this up. Goodbye.